Hello there YouTube, it's Jacob from Team Pyramid. So, I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I wanted to come to you today with my Tenyi deck profile. I've been playing this now for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I've been taking it to locals as well and had variant success. It's a fun deck. It's definitely a control based deck. It's more of a stun, I'd say, rather than control actually. But my build, I found since I've been tweaking it over the weeks, it has actually got more consistent. It's definitely a going first as well. It's a fun deck. And I'll start by the actual main deck itself. So we run 3 of the blue. So all of the Tenyis have the same effects. The start effect. They can all special summon themselves if you control a non-effect monster from your hand. You can only do that once per turn. They all have different effects, like from their second effect, but they all can either be activated from the grave or from your hand. That's something that people don't remember, that they can be activated from your hand as well. So the blue one, if a non-effect monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you could go ahead, banish this from your hand or graveyard, and then you could special summon it back to the field, and then target one monster and destroy it on your opponent's side of the field. So it's really good. Then we run 3 a shooter. So a shooter is one of your main monsters that you go for. So you use this to special summon itself, climb up into the links, and then you banish it from the grave. But when you banish it from the grave, it does lock you into worm monsters. So that is something to remember, because if you want it to go into other plays, then you have to make sure they're worms. But you banish this card from your hand or from your graveyard, and it goes ahead and lets you special summon a worm monster directly from your deck, which is really good. Then we run 3 Vishuda. Vishuda is another level 7, and in my opinion, much better than a shooter. Vishuda lets you banish, as long as you banish it, and lets you bounce a card from your opponent's side of the field back to the hand. So it is really good that way. It lets you get rid of. So if you've got it in your hand, you can go ahead and someone plays Mystic Mine against you, you can go ahead and bounce their Mystic Mine and go in, climb up for your plays, and get it in from there. That's what I've done quite a few times. Then Adshra, I can never pronounce it properly. This card actually is not only just a level 1 tuner, but it can also, you banish it and it goes ahead and lets you return to your hand a banished monster from obviously banished, it lets you return it to your hand, which means if you banished all 3 of them, all 3 of the shooters or shooters, you can go ahead and get them back to hand to get your resources going again. Then for one-offs, I'm actually thinking of bumping this up to 2, is Muppel. Reason for this is because if your non-effect monster is targeted, you can go ahead and banish this and negate the target and destroy, which is really good. Then your reverse honest, I call it reverse honest because it just reduces your opponent's monster by 1500 rather than increasing yours. So then off for the main part of the deck as well. So like I said, this is a going first, stop your opponent from playing deck. So I run 2 Vanity's Fiends and 3 Vanity's Ruler. So Vanity's Fiend is good as it's only a 1 tribute, but it does stop you from being able to special summon as well, which your deck likes to do. It likes to climb up through the links and hit them with heavy monsters. However, Vanity's Ruler, yeah, it's a 2 tribute, but it only stops your opponent from being able to special summon, so keep that in mind. Off to the hand traps. We run 3 Ash. It's not as good this format, I've noticed, but it still stops your opponent's plays. You could run Effect Veilers in here instead of Ash and have Ash in your side deck. It's totally whatever run in your local format. Then your 3 Gamma and your 1 Driver. Best hand trap at the moment. Then off to your honorary Tenyi monster, Mew. So Mew is just incredible in the deck. So what you do is you get a special summon from a win monster. So going into the extra deck, I'll show you what you use, but you get to special summon it, then you get 3 tokens, and you go into your link climbs from there, so it's just really, really good, really strong. Off to the spells. So we run one Foolish Burial because we want to get our Mjolnir or one of our other Tenyis into the actual graveyard itself. I normally send Mjolnir, so that way it's in the grave, so that way I can get a special summoned. Then we run our 3 Foolish Burial are good, so we use this as pretty much a searcher. So we use Foolish Burial are goods to send our Heavenly Dragon Circle. So I run 2 Heavenly Dragon Circles due to the fact of I am running 3 Foolish Burials, so that way you have technically running 5 searches. So when Heavenly Dragon Circles is in the grave, while you control a non-effect monster, you can banish it and add any Tenyi card from your deck to your hand, so it's actually really, really good. We use that to get into either our field spell, which is our Pot of Greed for the deck, or we use it to get into our counter trap, which counter trap itself lets you go ahead and has 2 effects. So while you control a non-face up monster on the field, a non-face up effect monster on the field, you can go ahead and negate a spell, trap, or monster effect, just literally straight up. It's free. If this card is popped, then you get to go ahead and special summon a non-effect monster from your extra deck. Keep that in mind, as when we go through the extra deck you will see. Then we run 3 of probably one of the best searches this game's actually seen. So not only is this a Foolish Burial, it is also a reinforcement of the army for the Tenyi deck. So while you control, so Vessel lets you go ahead and send 1 Whale monster from your deck to your grave, and if you control a non-face-up effect monster, you get to add a Tenyi monster from deck to hand. So if you haven't got your Foolish Burial to send Mjolnir to the grave, you go ahead and use that to send Mjolnir to the grave, or whatever's in the situation at the time. Then once Mjolnir's in the grave, you get to, and you control a non-effect monster, you get to add extra resources to keep yourself going forward. Then for the last card in the main deck is Skill Drain. Skill Drain is just too good not to run in this deck. The deck itself relies on non-effect monsters, and you get your effects from your hand or the grave to basically protect their monsters, so it's really, really good. It is a 40 card deck. The deck itself isn't very expensive. We'll get into that in a bit. So off to the extra deck, we run 3 of the little dude. We run 3 Monk. So Monk is your first go-to, your climber. So I was thinking of putting Link Rebo in here as well, just that way you can start getting your plays off. Then we run 3 Shaman of the Tenyi. You can cut this down to 2. You can. I found myself only ever going into 1 or 2 of them per game. If they're going to stop any effect, it's going to be Shaman. So Shaman's effect lets you pitch a card from your hand to the grave to special summon from your graveyard back to the field. So that's your Mjolnir recycle. As well as it does lock you into worms again. However, with Shaman's effect, if a non-effect monster attacks, you instantly get a pop on the field. So you get to pop one of your opponent's cards. I think that's a pretty good effect. We run our 1-man Fornicus, just another vanilla link climb. We run our Draco Master. I very rarely find myself going into this guy. There's not much really to say. It's got a good effect. It's just in the games that I've played, I do unless I'm pushing just for damage, I'd rather go into my Berserker. Sounds crazy that you'd want to pick a vanilla monster over a monster with a decent effect. So Master does let you get pops compared to the amount of non-effect monsters you controlled at the time. So it does let you do that, and it also protects itself if you control a non-effect monster. However, Berserker, even though it's vanilla, it's 3000 attack, you get into it a lot easier, but then you do get your protection with like your other Tenyi cards to stop it from getting destroyed, or if it does get destroyed, you get to bring it back and then do more damage. Then I run one of the big guys, Tenyi Spirit Shahara. So this card is phenomenal. Lets you go ahead and basically create a creature copy with no effect token with their attack on the field. So just really, really good, because then you've got it protects itself because the token's non-effect, which this card is really good. It means while you control a non-effect monster, your opponent cannot target this card with effects or attacks. So that's really freaking good. It's also a quick effect that it lets you actually get your token. So you get it at the end of your turn. You can get it in your turn and your opponent's turn going forward. I run 2 Draco Berserkers. So this card lets you banish a monster. Basically, banishes a monster that activates its effect, and then when it attacks and destroys a monster, it doubles it. It gains that monster's attack points, and then it can attack again. So you go into that for damage. Then for the generics, we run one Bowl Sword, one Scarlight for time, and then just for the shits and giggles, pretty much, I run a Blue Eyes Ultimate in the deck, because of the fact of, if they do pop your trap card, you do get to go into a non-effect monster, and if they pop your trap card and then you drop a 4500 attack monster on the field that you can protect with the Tenyi monsters, with the Tenyi card's effects, it is quite hard to get over, especially considering most decks now actually don't bother running any monsters that are that high level or that high attack to get over it. I know Dragoon is a bitch to get over at the moment. It's one of them cards that Konami will address eventually, but it is a good fun deck, this is, and it's definitely going first. It does steal games. So for the first week I was playing it, I went 3-0. 0-3, sorry. I lost all my games. I was just like, what the hell do I do with this deck? Then I started testing online, getting more variant effect, getting more information about the deck, and looking at other lists and seeing what might I be doing wrong. So week 2, I took it and I won 1 game, lost 2. Bearing in mind, it was against Eldritch and Dragonlink I lost to. Week 3, I thought, okay, I need to work on the sides, work out which cards I'm taking in, which cards I'm taking out, and this was this week, just gone, and I managed to get a 2-1 win, only losing to Dinos, and that's because Dinos done some tricky stuff that I didn't think they could do, but apparently it was legal. So I beat Dragonlink, I beat Invoked Dogmatica, and what was the other one? Some Infernoid build. I built with that as well. I think the person bricked, to be fair, but a win's a win, so I'll take that. But yeah, this is a fun deck. Keep tuned for more plays that will be coming up and more deck profiles. I am rebuilding the channel. Like I said, just had a lot going on. I started coming back, then I had a lot going on again. I moved house, so keep your ears open, keep your eyes open. Thank you very much for everyone that has stuck around for all this time. I will be coming back with a bang. I've got plenty of ideas for the channel, so please stay tuned, and thank you very much. And if you like the video, please subscribe, comment, and let me know what you want to see in the future. Thank you very much. Bye bye.